Right, what have we got here? Right, it's time to look at another Jetbeam. It's using one of my favourite Cree emitters, the XPL High, which is the high intensity. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'll tell you why. Even looking at the box, I was glad to see that they'd actually put all the specs on, because some of them don't bother and you've got to go searching around for them all over the annals of the internet there, which is a bit annoying. But for police use, tactical, camping, home and mountaineering, basically use it wherever you want. But I'm quite interested in this. Another reason why I'm quite interested is every Jetbeam that I've had a look at, I quite like the finish on them, and they just look quite nice. I think they do a good job, Jetbeam. So let's go through some of the specs. So I'll try and work out how the hell you get in this bloody thing. Right, so it's the Jetbeam Jet-iim. Now, I presume the M stands for military, because even on the front I noticed it says military series. So I'm presuming it's because this is essentially a tactical flashlight. And I see, you know, tactical, well, that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But let's see what you get in here. So is that empty? Yep. So get that off to one side. Let's see what we've got here. So proper manual, nice to see. Operational manual. Thank you for choosing our products. Yeah, no problem. And 1100 lumens, nice. So let me just use my X-Men powers. Okay, I've just memorized that. And as you notice, you can use an 18650 battery or two CR123s if you want. The rechargeable or the non-rechargeable, it's up to you. And for any Chinese viewers, there you go. Have a little look at that. And ni hao. So put that off to one side. Let's see what else you get in here. Certificate of approval. Okay, nice to see that. You don't get that in a lot, but just means someone's actually taking the time to look at these things, because I'm often asked what's the difference between something like an O-light. No, there's an O-light, there's the Warrior, which is a very, very capable flashlight. What's the difference? Why is that more expensive than some of these cheaper stuff like the Convoy? Well, I'm not saying that Convoy don't do quality control, but I certainly would recommend that it's not going to be to the same standard as O-light, for example. And so it's nice to see something like that. So they're putting their name on it. So get that off to one side. Now let's see what this is. There's your warranty card if you get any problems. So obviously Jetbeam, but it's also known as Night-Eye in other countries. And there's your warranty card, so I'll keep a hold of that. Sign your life away. There you go. Lovely. So let's see what else you get in here. Is this glued? No. There you go. Right. That's just for display. There's some Silica Gel if you get hungry. I'm only joking. Do not eat that. Do not eat. That's just to absorb water. It keeps the product in good condition. And what's this? So you get a couple of. Are they 1.5 mil? I don't think so. I think they're just one. But there's a couple of spare O-rings, which I like to see. Now, O-rings just go between two machined parts, and it improves and guarantees that you're going to get a waterproofing. But I'm going to go through those specs and how waterproof this is. So let's have a look at the flashlight and get rid of that. Right, so first impressions. It certainly looks the part. And I like to see this. You see on these clips, there's only a few manufacturers. I know Claris did one where they actually bothered to machine holes in. This gives you more options, especially for tactical uses. This allows you to attach it in many different ways. And if you notice on the other side of that, there's another option. See? Obviously you move that around there. See? The different settings. That gives you more options. You can have it hanging from bungees and things like that. So it's to hand, but it's not necessarily in a pocket, because when we're talking tactical, in the army, you don't necessarily use certain pockets like you would in civilian life. So I like to see that. The only thing that puts me off a little bit is this isn't deep carry. So obviously this is only going to go up so far in your pocket, and then this is going to protrude, which some people might find annoying. I don't particularly care about that, but I would prefer, personally, I would definitely prefer a deep carry. So an example of a deeper carry is on the BLF A6 here. You see how that's the normal level, but then deep carry means that that's the top of your pocket. So your only protrusion here is literally going to be that. Very, very small. So I prefer deep carry. It gives you more options. But at least to put that on, you haven't got to pay extra for it. And it's removable by rotating this off. You see this screws off and you can get rid of it. So nice to see. Now what I might do is, let's just have a look. I think they should have, yeah, I asked them to put a battery in, so let's have a look. This is the Samsung 30Q. I always use 30Qs, I prefer them. So let's have a look at this machine in here. As you notice, not a lot of sound when that's going on. Now that's usually an indication of good machining. If it doesn't feel too loose, no rattle. Yeah, nice and smooth. Let's see if it's been... okay, yes, nice threading. Okay, perfect. Now I just want to get down here and see what's down here. I can't reach, and my finger got stuck there. I just want to see what they've got down there. So let's have a... I'll just turn that strobe off. Yeah, there's the... actually, it might be a double-ended, so yeah. Here's me doing it the hard way. So both of them have an O-ring on, which stops the water getting in. And that spring doesn't look particularly big. Not the best spring I've ever seen, but, you know, nice and clean down here. No issues. Thread looks lovely and clean, came off nice. Nice, this is thick. Not the thickest I've seen, but yeah, nice. So we'll get that put back on. And I'll screw that right in because that figures in with some of the workings of the light. So let's get this in. And let's have a look at this. This is your tail clicker. Nice, very nice. And spring loaded. Yeah, plenty of room for play there. Beautiful, well done. So we'll get that on, and I'll go through some of the other specs. So, turn that off. This is the, well, they're calling it a military series, as you can see there. So, I like the finish, and as I say on a lot of jet beams, the finish, it almost feels like a ceramic. It's so smooth, and I like that. Although, having said that, on the Convo, you get like a sort of powder finish, and I quite like that as well. So I'm not averse towards any other finish, but I think it makes them feel quite sort of special. So I appreciate that. And then you have the Tacticool. Now this should be, yeah, this is removable, and I presume you can get aftermarkets, but I've never seen any. You could certainly get a machine shop to make you one. So this is a stainless steel, let's call this a Tacticool aggressive setting on the front. I mean, even on their own website they say you can use this to get out of cars. You probably can, and I'm not going to argue against that, but if you've ever tried to use a flashlight to smash a car window, obviously depending on which country you're in, I've probably mentioned this before, it depends where you are. I mean, some countries use a laminate. You're not going to smash through there. If you're in somewhere like the UK, where I am, it's probably easier to smash a window because we use safety glass. It fragments into tiny little bits. It's still toughened, but it depends where you are, and it's still hard to smash a car window with one of these unless you do it in the right area and you really whack it. But okay, that option's there. I certainly wouldn't suggest that's an offensive weapon for attacking people. There are better ways around that. So nice unit. So it's using an 18650 battery, which we've gone through, which is one of my favourite form factors, and it's a tail clicker. So as you can see, tail clicker. Now I like tail clickers, but this one's different. So you can have a side clicker like this one, which I like less because you can accidentally hit that in your pocket. A tail clicker like that is better, not on that particular one, but look, you can't accidentally set that off. See, you couldn't theoretically hit that. Yeah, you could if it was the right shaped thing in your kit bag or something like that, but in general, you're not going to accidentally set that on, because the issue is, you see, especially with a side clicker, it goes on in your pocket, and you do a 10-mile trek, and then you get to camp. Right, everyone, relax, and oops, the batteries run out, and you think, well, thanks very much, and you've got to go scrounging around your mates for batteries. So, not a big fan. But if you notice on these tactical ones, the tail clicker is out. It has to be because they're assuming that you're going to be using gloves. So for example, here's some gloves I use. So let's get one of them on. So what they're trying to get at is, generally, when you're wearing gloves, you need more things protruding so you can feel them, and it's easier to do. I don't feel that need. I can still feel that and click in. But that's just a design aesthetic that they've chosen there. So I'll take them off just for a second. Okay, so let's put that to one side. Right, so this is using a smooth reflector. Now, what am I talking about here? So come on, it's time for a drawing. So you've got three basic types of light transmission. So you've got your torch there, and your LED, and light's transmitted in this direction. So in order to transmit that in a pattern which suits the application, what you can do is you can put on a smooth reflector, which is essentially just smooth as you would imagine, and light comes out, and then light bounces around in this and comes out. So what happens is, I shall show you this. So with a smooth reflector, this does have a smooth reflector. So can you see what's happening there? So you've got, this is your spot, okay, so this is what the reflector is whacking out. So there's your spot, you've got defined zones, so there's your spot, that's going to travel the furthest. And then from here to here is spill. So spill is the extra residual light. Now you need both, because obviously you don't just want to look at something miles away, you want to look at something close as well. But up close, this isn't necessarily the best, is it? You see how this is obscuring detail, not necessarily the best. So your second option is to go for an orange peel reflector. So it's very similar to this, but you have pits and aberrations. I'm exaggerating, the pits and aberrations are very small. Okay, so what happens there is it smooths out the two transition zones. So instead of getting your spot in the middle and then a bit of spill, you get more of a transition. Okay, so you're technically getting the best of both worlds. A smooth reflector throws the light, okay, whereas this orange peel reflector tries to meld the two worlds together. So on this OLED you can see the reflector. See the difference? This is the Jetbeam. See how it's not perfectly smooth, but certainly you could regard that as smooth. And you see how this is like an orange peel, it's pitted. So what does that do? Well, I'll turn this mode down so I can put it on a more sensible mode for you. There. So we'll just compare this. Now you see how there's more of a transition and the detail is obscured less. See how that works? We'll compare that to the Jetbeam on the left here. You're obscuring detail, you're getting a better hotspot, but look at the difference. I know this is at a slightly different level, but I'm showing you an extreme example here. But so what's going on here? Well, this is smoothing out the transition zone. I mean, obviously your third option is to use a TIR reflector. So you have your LED and then you have a solid lens over the top. And what happens is it bounces around within the medium and then it comes out in a manner that you want, and it's smoother. So for example, this is a TIR lens. So you see, rather than a reflector, it has a lens, and you have all these little pits. So what happens is, look at the, so I'll put this right up to full. See how even at this height, there's no hotspot until you get right up close, but you wouldn't be that close anyway, you know, unless you were using a microscope or you're blind or something. So see the difference? All transition, no transition. The downside with a TIR, they're brilliant up close, but you're not going to be able to throw. You're not going to be able to throw. Now, for tactical purposes, you want something that's going to throw. I would argue that they should have gone for an orange peel reflector, but there you go. That's just, this might be better for longer range things. So, before we go through the modes, I'm going to mention that this also comes with memory mode. Not a lot do, but nice to see this. So memory mode just means it remembers the last mode you were in, and because of that it's going to go straight to that, because this has differing output levels. I prefer a memory mode, it's a time saving feature, and this one it comes with I think it's IPX8. I'll just double check the box because I didn't memorize that. Yeah, that's memorized, right. IPX8 means theoretically you could drop this in 2 meters of water, so 2 meters of water, and the water shouldn't get in if, and I always stress this, if that's properly tightened and you haven't knackered the O-ring, because I've seen people whinging saying, hey, they're rubbish, they don't work. Yeah, have you looked after the O-ring? Probably not. I trust a lot of these manufacturers, so especially Jetbeam. So nice to see IPX8 means you're not worried about water, dropping it in water. You certainly can't go diving with this, and it's not up to the IPX levels of some of the Army Tech stuff, but that stuff costs a lot more, so that's understandable. Right, so let's go through some of these modes. And before I do that, I'll show you how you go about doing that. So you've got this lock feature. See, you've got 3 settings. So obviously with the padlock, it's locked. You can't make this light function. Excellent. I like a lockout feature. Now that's a physical lockout feature. Something like the OLED uses an electronic lockout feature. It's the same with the BLF Q8, 4 clicks electronic lockout. But this has a physical one. In other words, you can quickly disengage it. So nice to see nice to see. I like a lockout because you can put it in lock mode. It's not going to go off automatically in your pocket. Excellent, well done, Jetbeam. Nice to see that. So your other two modes are you have a click on and off and a temporary. So there's your momentary. So momentary, you're going to get turbo. And we'll go through those modes, but I'm just showing you this lock feature. So you see, there's no other function other than on, turbo and off. Okay. Your other setting, click, is clicky. So listen, click on, stays on, you can get on with stuff, and click off. And obviously that helps you cycle through the modes as well. So you're probably thinking, how do you cycle through the modes then? There's no side button. How do you do it? Well, weirdly, you have to unscrew this a bit. Now I find that counterintuitive. And the reason I find that counterintuitive is, the reason this is IPX8 is because these are tightened. So in order to get the modes, you untighten it, which is weird. And then watch. So tightened, you get turbo and nothing else. Untighten it, which is a counterintuitive because that's a possible of letting water in, although okay, fair enough. Now it goes through modes. How weird's that? I find that a strange design decision, but okay, who am I to argue? It still feels rock solid. Let's go through these modes. So let's go on off, that's it, and boom. Right, so here's your highest, 1100 lumens. Excellent. That is the theoretical maximum anyway of the emitter that they're using, which is the Cree XPL high. So if you go to the Cree's own website, that's the theoretical maximum. So you're probably not going to get exactly 1100, but it's going to be close to that. It's certainly going to be over 1000. So excellent. You're only going to get about 1.5 hours out of that, but that's fantastic. And there's not a lot of heat, you know. At that level, that's not a lot of heat. It's doing an excellent job, a bit like the All-Out Warrior. That doesn't heat up a lot. Things like this heat up a lot quicker, the BLFA 6 and the Convoy, but still not a lot of heat. There will be step down, but Jetbeam couldn't be bothered to reply to my email, so I worked it out myself. It's a timed step down. So step down means if you run that at the highest setting, what happens is that there comes a point when the intelligent design says, okay, it's running so hot now, things are going to get damaged. So what it does is it steps down that output to enable it to continue outputting light uninterrupted, but without damaging the torch. So there will be some step down, but like I say, Jetbeam never really got back. Okay, so that's your high, and then the next one is medium. So medium, 250 lumens, you're getting 4.5 hours out of that. I would argue 250 to 300 is where you're going to be doing most of your stuff anyway. You know, you can get anything done with that level. And then you have low, which is 20 lumens. Yeah, not bad. You know, just around camp, just for looking at certain stuff, and you don't want to damage night vision. You get 15 hours out of that, fantastic. And then the lowest, which is ultra low, as they term it, 5 lumens. I would have preferred that to be lower because I consider that too much. That's in a range where it's going to damage night vision. Night vision is when you become accustomed to the night. You're busy doing stuff, you just want a very low setting to look at a map or quickly do something or adjust a piece of equipment or load a gun or whatever. You don't necessarily want more light than that, because what happens is if that gets in your eyes or your buddy's eyes, you can ruin their night vision. You then have an issue, because it takes me about 15 minutes to get that back. Some torches have red light modes and stuff like that. I know Jimmy Mac is a big fan of that, who's a very good helper on this channel. And yeah, I agree with him. I personally can get away with just using a low lumen mode, but yeah, red light's probably better. But it depends who you are, what you're doing, whether you want detail and whether you're colorblind. Colorblind people have differences in that as well, where red light doesn't really help. So maybe I'm colorblind to certain frequencies. So there you go. And then you have another 2 modes, which is strobe. I'll put that down so it doesn't annoy people, but you can see it coming through the attack ring or whatever they call it on this model. So strobe, I mean, they say that's tactical. Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, some self-defense instructors will say, no, tactical is not cool anymore. Strobe isn't the way to go. You need to go to full beam. Yeah, maybe. I think any light can disorientate someone, and I just hope nobody ever has to use that, because in a real fight, you know, you can't just strobe someone and haha, you are disabled forever, and I can just stroll off laughing. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately, especially if they've got a weapon. And your other mode is SOS, so that's going to blink out the international recognized 333. So you've got flash, 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 and then flash, flash, flash. So that's an SOS. So it's a nice beacon mode you can use, but obviously don't misuse that, especially near maritime things, because people will think you're in danger. So you've got pretty much everything you need there. And I want to try and wrap this up quickly without rabbiting on. So let's just look at the size though, because I noticed this is it's a pretty big torch stroke flashlight. So put that to one side. So let's compare that to a competitor. Now, bearing in mind Olight, massive price difference. This is much cheaper. I still prefer this. Because I prefer an orange peel reflector, but if I didn't have the money, I would get that. Even though you're missing out on like almost a deep carry, although this doesn't go all the way up. But look at the size distance. Quite a difference there. But you could argue that, okay, look at the difference though. That depth there isn't very much, but you see the depth between the lens and the outside, that's pretty substantial. So you could argue that this is harder wearing. But having said that, Olight, never had a problem with Olight. They're rock solid. I've dropped an S2 baton many times, nothing ever happens, and I presume the same would be for something like this, like the Warrior. But obviously, you know, you can compare it to something like the BLF A6 or the Convoy S2 Plus. There, do you really want that extra space? Yeah, you're getting a physical lockout, and this is probably going to last you longer, but I think you can get away with this. You're going to get a similar output. These are both around 1,000 lumens. You know, they're both excellent flashlights in their own sort of way. Do you really want to spend more on this when you could get this for $20 to $30? Same with this. If you're just getting into the flashlight world, you're probably better off going for one of these. The BLF A6 or the Convoy S2 Plus is an excellent starter flashlight. But if you want to be more tactical, certainly this has more options. But I don't understand why you've got to undo a watertight seal to get a certain function. Could they not have just, I don't know, added a ring? Or there's got to be some other way of doing this. I don't know why they need all that. But okay, that's their decision. So obviously it's on turbo when it's like that, but loosen it off and then you get more functions. It just seems a bit strange. But I'm quite a fan now of Jetbeam. I've never reviewed a bad Jetbeam product, put it that way, so I find them very good. And we've tested it with the tactical gloves on, because they are claiming it's tactical. If I was busy with equipment and out shooting or whatever, yeah, that feels pretty good. I can detect the button perfectly, although it's smooth. You'll notice that the Olight is more tactical still, but it's more tactile. But yeah, it's certainly pronounced enough where you can feel that instantly and quickly get to it, especially, you know, I certainly haven't done any shooting with this, but I can't imagine it being particularly bad. Pretty good design, no problems. So let's give this a mark before I head out and show you some beam shots. So, price, better than the Olights, but more than the Stalwarts here. So, is it worth the extra? It looks nice, feels nice. It's I tell you something, it's rock solid. You probably could whack out a window with this if you got it in the right place. 18650, excellent run times, brilliant output, a good emitter. 18650. I would prefer them to have had some sort of different clip here, and if they could reduce this distance, I'll be more of a fan. I'm not sure why they've made it so long, and what's going on here. Was this going to be a button on a different model, or I presume there's a different model where there's a USB charge, and that's probably what that is. So why not shrink this model? But well done. Do you know what? I'm going to give that a solid 8. There's no real issues. There's just aesthetic things that I would change. The UI is fine. It's perfectly simple. The run times are great. Price is sensible for what it is. It has a nice feel and finish, rock solid. So 8 out of 10. Well done, Jetbeam. Sorry, you always put out a good product. I've got no problems. So let's get out. I've done enough waffling on. It's time to get out.